could call another collector and say, I've got a Hemingway CD 106.
Paul Darasso's Orange Park home is filled with tiny treasures. 10 years ago, Darasso retired after 40 years with First Union Bank and by accident found a new passion for collecting.
About the time I retired, I came by a junk store on the way home. The man had about 200 of them. He said, if you'll take them, you can have them. I knew what they were, but I didn't know anybody collected them. So they sat in the garage, and I finally started looking online and found out there's thousands of collectors all over the world that you can communicate with.
Glass insulators came about shortly after Samuel Morse invented the telegraph in the 1840s.
They had to have some way to keep the wires from getting wet and grounding out, so they ran the wires attached to an insulator. I love it. This wire would actually go to that next insulator and so forth. That's how they tied it on there. That would keep the wire from dropping down onto the wet wood and shorting out. That's its whole purpose in life right there. The very early ones, of course, were very, very crude and made out of wood and other things, and then it finally migrated to glass. But the very, very early ones like that, of course, are real gems to find and are very, very hard to find.
Insulators have always been a part of Darasso's life. His father was a telegraph operator, and he himself served in a communications platoon in the military. So it took time for Darasso to realize what a large collector's item insulators have become.
I don't specialize. Most collectors specialize either in color, as you see here, a particular manufacturer, a particular type of insulator. I like to collect anything I don't have. If I don't have that shape or that particular embossing on the insulator or that color, then that's the one I want. I haven't specialized, and I don't want to specialize.
But many people do. According to the National Insulator Association, which boasts almost 6,000 members since its inception in the early 1970s, there have been nearly 70 manufacturers of glass and porcelain insulators dating back to the 1840s, resulting in countless sizes, shapes, and colors.
All of them have nicknames, called doorknob.
Most insulators were made from scraps of leftover glass, resulting in a variety of colors. Their shapes and sizes were determined by the types of wire they held and their currents. Glass insulators were made only until the 1970s, when telephone lines began being buried and wireless technologies advanced. This makes them more valuable than porcelain insulators, which are still being used for electric lines.
There are some out there worth thousands of dollars. You know, some collectors certainly have got the means to collect the high end. Other people don't. So it's just what you can get. Of course, the ones that are very, very valuable are also very, very scarce.
Collectors of both common and rare insulators expand their collections via online communities and an occasional outdoor excursion.
We've looked for them out in the wild. We've tromped through the swamps and old rail lines and climbed old rotten poles trying to get insulators. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah. So I've gone to that length to get them.
But they also go to insulator shows, like the one being held this Saturday, February 21st, at the Comfort Inn in Jacksonville Beach, which is sponsored by the Dixie Jewels Insulator Club.
It's a great club. There's about 70 or 80 members. It's family-oriented. We just put all of our insulators on tables. It's free. There's certainly no charge. If anybody has an insulator and wants us to appraise it, we'll be glad to do that. And as a matter of fact, we're going to have a table full of insulators, and everybody walks in the door is going to get a free insulator. So it's just a good time by a group of people that enjoy getting together, but definitely it's open to the public, and we encourage that.
And it's that openness that Darasso hopes will bring more awareness to the hobby.
There's so much history associated with these. I mean, some of these insulators I've got go back to the Civil War. There could have been a message passed by it to Abe Lincoln, you know, so we really encourage people to get into the hobby, and particularly young people.
For more information on insulators, the club, and this weekend's show, check out my blog at jacksonville.com/Amanda. For Jacksonville.com, I'm Amanda Warford.